She forgot him, again and again. But every time she touched his hand, her heart started breaking, like it remembered something. Her mind refused to hold what really happened on that road. Why does her soul feel a loss she cannot explain? And when the truth finally returns, it will force a choice, so painful, changes love forever. Stay with me, 'cause this is not just a love story. It is a moment that will make you question what love truly means, when you can only save one. Before we dive into the incredible story, do not forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button so you never miss our powerful, life-changing content. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt story. If it moved you, share it, comments below, and let someone know you are never alone. The wind tasted like dust and old regrets when I saw her again, standing near the broken fence where the accident had stolen her past. Her eyes met mine, soft, polite, empty, like I was just another stranger passing through her forgotten world. My chest tightened, low, sharp, unforgiving, 'cause once, those same eyes had held my entire life. "You look familiar," she said. Her voice, gentle as dusk, yet distant, smiled, carefully, as if joy itself could shatter if held too tightly. "Maybe," I answered. My hands trembled, so I buried them deep in my coat pockets. The prairie stretched behind her, endless, golden, aching with silence, a place where we had once dreamed forever, together. It only echoed with everything she could no longer remember. A gust of wind passed, lifting strands of her hair, and something changed, not in her mind, but deeper. Her breath caught, just slightly. Her fingers moved to her chest, as if her heart had whispered, "Secret." Her memory refused to speak. "Have we met before?" This time, her voice carried something else. Crack, pull, something real. I stepped closer, each step heavy, with years she had lost. "Yes," I said softly. The word lingered between us, fragile, alive. She studied my face, longer now, searching, feeling. Her eyes filled, without warning, tears she could not explain, yet could not stop. "I feel," a pause, struggling against the emptiness, "like I know you." And in that moment, the world stilled, the wind faded, the silence deepened, 'cause love, true love, had found its way back, without permission, without memory, without reason. Her hand reached for mine, hesitant, shaking, but certain. And when her fingers touched my skin, spark, fierce, undeniable, rushed through both of us. He gasped, as if struck by something unseen. Her grip tightened, instinctively, desperately, like letting go would mean losing something she could never name. Her heartbeat raced. I could feel it, echoing through her trembling hand, matching mine, perfectly. And suddenly, her expression shifted, from confusion to something deeper, something almost like grief, like her soul was remembering everything at once. Too much, too fast, too painful. She stepped back, breathing uneven, eyes wide, as the truth pressed against her, invisible, overwhelming, and still, just beyond reach. I feel like I am about to lose you." The words broke, honest, terrifying, even to her. And I realized, this was the cruelest part, not the forgetting, but the feeling of losing someone, again and again, without ever knowing why. I moved toward her, slowly, gently, like approaching something sacred. "Then hold on," I whispered, my voice steady, even as my world trembled. "Hold on to what you feel, because somewhere, beneath the broken memories, beneath the silence, beneath the accident that stole our past, her heart was still fighting, still reaching, still choosing me, again and again and again." And as the sky darkened, and the cold crept in. She stepped closer, drawn by something stronger than fear, stronger than reason, stronger than loss. Her forehead resting lightly against mine, eyes closing, as if surrendering to a truth she could never fully understand, yet could never deny. And in that fragile, beautiful moment, I knew, no matter how many times the world erased me, no matter how many times she forgot, I would stand here, on this same broken ground, through every season, every storm, every silence, waiting for her heart to find me again. Her breath warmed my skin, soft and steady, alive, and for a moment, time loosened its grip on everything we had lost. Her fingers curled into my coat, holding, as if the world beneath her feet was slipping away. "I feel safe," she whispered. The words trembled, fragile, like glass catching light, yet they cut deeper than anything she remembered. A distant sound, metal against metal, a loose sign swinging in the wind, sharp, sudden, and her body stiffened, her eyes snapped open, fear flooding in. Without warning, without reason, her grip tightened, too tight, like she was holding on to the edge of something breaking. The air shifted, heavy, thick, pressing against my chest. "I hear it," she said, voice shaking. "That sound, it feels wrong." The wind rose, faster now, carrying dust, and something else, something buried beneath memory. I followed her gaze to the road beyond the fence, empty, yet not, because something invisible lingered there, waiting. Her breathing grew uneven, chin inhale sharper, like thorns inside her lungs. My head, she pulled away suddenly, hands pressing against her temples, as if trying to stop something from forcing its way in. Fragments, flashes, not clear, but violent, her body reacting before her mind could understand. Step back, then another, panic rising, wild, uncontained. "I see." Her voice cracked, eyes wide with something breaking through. "There is light too bright." The words came in pieces, like shattered glass, cutting their way out. My heart pounded, 'cause I knew this was the moment, the place where everything had been torn apart. The wind howled, louder, fiercer, as if the past itself refused to stay buried. She gasped, a sharp cry escaping her. As her knees weakened, I reached for her, caught her just before she fell. Her body shook in my arms, not from cold, but from something deeper, something returning, too fast, too heavy. "I was here," she whispered, barely audible. Her fingers gripped my shirt, desperate, searching. "You were here." The words hit like thunder. Her eyes locked onto mine, and this time, they were not empty. They were filled with fear, with pain, with something dangerously close to truth. Tears spilled freely now. No hesitation, no confusion, only feeling, overwhelming. "I lost you." Her voice broke, completely, as if the weight of it had finally found her. The sky darkened further, clouds rolling in, thick, restless, mirroring the storm inside her. "I remember the feeling," she said, shaking. The moment everything disappeared, her hand moved to my face, slowly, like touching something she was afraid might vanish. And yet, her expression twisted again, pain clashing with something unfinished, something still hidden. Her breath caught, sharp, as another fragment forced its way through, stronger, closer, more dangerous, and I felt it, that edge, that breaking point, where remembering too much, too quickly, could take her away from me, all over again. Her fingers trembled against my cheek, warm, familiar, afraid, and then, they froze, as if something unseen had taken hold of her. Her eyes widened, not with confusion, but recognition. sharp, piercing, terrifying. You! The word barely formed, yet it carried weight, like a door, forcing itself open. A rush of wind cut through us, violent, unforgiving, and she flinched, her body remembering. Before her voice could follow, I hear it again, louder now, closer, that metallic scream, twisting through the air. Her nails pressed into my skin, not pain, but proof that I was still here, that she was still here. The world around us blurred, edges softening, colors fading, until only her eyes remained, locked onto mine, searching, pleading, breaking. There was light. Her breath quickened, too fast, too close. Her body jerked, a sharp gasp tearing from her chest, as if the moment had returned, not as memory, but as reality, right here, right now. I pulled her closer, steady, grounded, trying to anchor her against the storm rising inside. You are safe, I whispered, low, firm, certain. Her head shook, violently. No, no, something is missing. Her voice cracked open, desperate, like she stood on the edge of something she needed to see, yet feared to face. Her grip loosened, then tightened again, caught between holding on and falling apart. I was not alone. The words slipped out, quiet, haunting, and the air around us shifted, colder, heavier, as if truth itself had stepped closer. My heart stumbled, one beat, then another, 'cause I knew there was more, something she had not reached yet, something waiting, just beyond the fragments. Her gaze drifted past me, to the empty road, but this time, it was not empty to her. Her lips parted slowly, eyes filling with something deeper than fear, something heavier than pain, realization, low, crushing, unstoppable. There was someone else. Her voice trembled, barely holding together, and her hand slipped from my face, falling between us, like something breaking. The wind howled again, pulling at her hair, her coat, her breath, as if the past itself refused to let her go. I was reaching, she whispered, lost in the pull of it. Reaching for. The sentence hung, unfinished, fragile, dangerous, because whatever came next would change everything. Her body swayed, unsteady, caught between now and then, between me and whatever memory was clawing its way back. And I stood there, holding on to her, while feeling, for the first time, that I might not be the only one. Her heart was trying to remember. The space between us shifted, thin, fragile, dangerously uncertain. Her lips trembled, as if the next word would decide everything. I was reaching for. She stopped, breath caught, eyes searching the distance, where the road blurred into memory. The wind roared louder, dragging dust across the ground, dinging, restless, and then, her body jolted, like something inside her finally broke through. A child. The word fell, off, but it shattered everything. My chest tightened, sharp, sudden, unforgiving. Her hands flew to her mouth, shock flooding her face, tears spilling faster now. Not confusion, not fear, but grief, deep, king, ancient. There was a child, she whispered, voice breaking apart, piece by piece. I remember the small hand, her fingers curled into her palm, as if trying to hold it again, to feel it again. Even for a second, the air grew heavy, hard to breathe, hard to stand in. As truth unfolded, low, merciless, I was trying to reach them. Her knees weakened, and I held her tighter. But this time, she was not holding on to me. She was holding on to something else, something lost, something slipping further away. With every second she remembered. The light. Her voice shook violently. It came between us. Her entire body trembled, like the memory itself, was tearing through her. I could not get there. The words came out raw, unfiltered, filled with a pain that had waited too long. Her head dropped against my chest, but her tears, they were not for me. They were for that moment, that unbearable second, where everything had been taken. I lost them. The whisper cut deeper than anything before, because it was final, absolute, real. The wind slowed, just slightly, as if even the world felt the weight of it. I closed my eyes, just for a moment, because now I understood. This was never only about forgetting me. It was about surviving something too painful to carry whole. Her fingers clutched my shirt again, but differently now, not searching, not questioning, but anchoring, as if I was the only thing left that still existed. I remember the feeling, she said softly, voice fragile. You were there. My heart stilled, completely. You were holding me. Her grip tightened, and for the first time, there was certainty, not confusion, not doubt, but truth. Undeniable. You did not let me fall. The words lingered between us, heavy, alive, and yet, her breathing faltered again, because the memory, it was still moving, still unfolding, not finished, not complete. Her head lifted slowly, eyes meeting mine, filled with something deeper, something that made my chest tighten, with a different kind of fear. I remember your voice, she whispered, shaking. But the word hung there, dangerous and steady, as if everything was about to shift again. Her fingers loosened, just slightly, and that terrified me more than anything before, because whatever came next was still buried, still coming, and it felt closer than ever. Her fingers slipped further, not gone, but no longer certain, like something inside her was pulling her away again. I remember your voice, she whispered, is locked on mine, searching deeper, past the man in front of her, into something hidden, something unfinished. It was calling my name. Her breath trembled, low, uneven, loud, desperate, pause, heavy, stretching between us. But the word fractured, as her expression shifted, confusion returning, colliding with truth, like two worlds refusing to exist together. You were not the only one calling me. The air stilled, completely. Even the wind seemed to hesitate. Her gaze drifted again, past me, to that invisible place, where memory lived. I hear another voice, softer, fainter, but closer to her than anything else. Her hand moved to her chest, fingers pressing hard, as if her heart itself was trying to speak. It felt small, she said, eyes filling again, fragile, afraid. Child's voice, echoing through her, not as sound, but as feeling, unfiltered. Her knees buckled slightly, and I steadied her, but now, felt it too, that shift, that distance growing, not physical, but something deeper, something I could not reach. I was turning, she continued, voice distant, like she was watching herself, from somewhere far away, toward the road, toward you. Her fingers tightened briefly, as if holding on to that version of me, the one from that moment, the one who still had her. But something pulled me back. Her words slowed, each one heavier than the last, like I had to choose. The sentence lingered, unfinished, yet complete in its meaning. Voice, impossible, cruel, unfair. Her breathing became shallow, quick, as realization pressed harder. I could not hold both. The whisper broke, barely there, yet it echoed louder than anything before. Her hand slipped from my coat, falling between us, completely now. The distance widened, not in space, but in truth, 'cause I understood, before she said it, Before she fully saw it, her eyes lifted, meeting mine again, but this time, there was something new, something that had never been there before. Not confusion, not fear, but sorrow, deep, unavoidable, kind that comes when love meets reality. You were trying to save me, she said softly, and her voice trembled, on the edge of breaking, on the edge of something final. Her lips parted, but no sound came, only breath, shallow, fragile, as the rest of the memory stood right there, waiting, to be spoken, to be felt, to be lived again, and I stood frozen, because whatever she was about to remember, whatever truth was about to surface, would not only change her, it would change who I was, in her story, forever. Her silence stretched, thin, king, unbearable, and the words lingered, unfinished, as her breath faltered, like her heart feared. What came next? The sky above us darkened further, clouds folding into each other, restless, heavy, mirroring the storm inside her. Her eyes searched mine, not for answers, but for strength, for permission, to step into the truth. I let go. The whisper barely existed, yet it shattered something deep inside me. Her shoulders trembled, quiet collapse, as the memory took shape, clearer now, crueler. I let go of you. Tears fell faster, unchecked, unstoppable, not confusion, not fear, but guilt, sharp, merciless, like it had been waiting all this time. I chose. Her voice broke again, but she forced it forward, even as it tore through her. I chose the child. The wind howled, fierce, wild, as if the world itself reacted to her truth. Her hand shook violently as she stepped back, creating space between us, space filled with everything we had lost. I remember your face, she said, voice raw. You were shouting, telling me to run. Fragments sharpened, details cutting deeper. I saw you reach for me. Her breath hitched, pain flashing across her eyes. But I turned away. The words dropped, heavy, final, echoing between us, like a closing door. The ground beneath me felt unsteady, not from movement, but from understanding, because I could see it now. That moment, frozen in time, where love had split, not into less, but into more than one life, more than one choice. Her hands covered her face, as a sob escaped, deep, broken. I could not save both. The confession trembled, full of unbearable truth. The wind slowed again, as if even it needed to listen, needed to witness this unraveling. I thought, she whispered, barely able to continue. I thought you would follow. Her fingers dropped slowly, revealing eyes filled with regret, with longing, with something that had no place to go. But you did not. Her voice softened, pain turning inward, like a blade she held against herself. I lost you there. The words hung, heavy, alive, not just memory, but feeling, real, present, as if it was happening again, right now. Her gaze locked onto mine, searching, pleading, not for forgiveness, but for something deeper, something harder, understanding. I have been losing you, she said quietly. Every time I forget. Her voice steadied slightly, but only because the truth had settled, deep inside her, rooted, unchangeable. And every time I remember. She stepped closer again, low, uncertain, as if walking toward something fragile, something that might disappear if touched too quickly. It hurts more. Her hand lifted, hesitating in the space between us, close, but not touching, as if she feared that holding me again would only lead to another loss, another moment, another impossible choice. The wind whispered around us, softer now, but colder, carrying the weight of what remained, and said, unfinished. 'Cause even now, the memory was still moving, still opening, revealing more than either of us was ready to face. The wind softened, no longer restless, no longer searching, just quiet, like the world had finally heard everything. She stood in front of me, eyes no longer lost, no longer chasing fragments, but holding them, all of them, the love, pain, choice. Her hand lifted again, this time, did not hesitate. Her fingers found mine, steady, certain, warm. I remember enough, she whispered. Not everything, not every detail, but enough, enough to know what we were, what we lost, what we still carried. Her thumb brushed against my skin, gentle, grounding, as if she was learning me again, not through memory, but through feeling, through truth. I chose love, she said softly, just not the way I wanted. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time, they were not breaking her. They were freeing her. 'Cause the weight, it was no longer hidden, no longer buried, had a name now, a meaning, a place to rest. I stepped closer, closing the space between us, not to hold on to the past, but to stand in the present, with her, as she was, as we were now. You saved a life, I said, my voice calm, certain, because it was the truth, simple, powerful, enough. Her breath trembled, but her shoulders eased, just slightly, as if forgiveness had finally found its way in, not from me, but from within her. The sky began to clear, soft light breaking through, touching the land, warming the cold edges of everything. And in that quiet, we stood together, not as who we used to be, but as two souls who had walked through loss and still found each other. Her head rested against my chest, not in fear, not in desperation, but in peace, quiet, earned, beautiful peace. I may forget again, she said, honest, brave. Her fingers tightened in mine, just a little, but my heart will find you. I closed my eyes, holding that truth, letting it settle, deep, where nothing could erase it. 'Cause love, real love, does not live in memory alone. It lives in choices, in sacrifices, in the courage to let go, and still remain. And maybe, that is what we all must learn, that love is not proven by holding on, but by choosing what is right, even when it breaks us, even when it changes everything. Because in the end, it is not about what we keep, but what we give, and how gently we carry each other through the moments that try to tear us apart. The wind moved once more, soft, endless, carrying our story forward, not as something lost, but as something lived, something that would remain. In every quiet act of love, in every unseen sacrifice, in every heart that chooses to love again.